here this evening? That works. It's so nice to be back where I spent 4 great years at the University of Texas, and it's even greater to come out on a September evening and see this many people in this ballroom, because this is the kind of thing we're seeing all across the state, and this is the reason that I think that we're going to win in 2020. Like all of you, I've had enough of John Cornyn and Donald Trump. Like all of you, I woke up on November 7th of 2016 and realized that it wasn't a nightmare and that we weren't going to be coming out of it anytime soon. And after grieving for several weeks, I decided that any of us who had been involved in politics or who had not been in politics either needed to stay involved or get involved, because we certainly couldn't live in this new world that Donald Trump was creating for us, and a world that we never thought that we would be living in. And I think that we all have a duty to make sure that come 2021 that both John Cornyn and Donald Trump are either looking for new jobs or looking to collect their pension checks. And of course, that would be great for John Cornyn, since he's been on the public dole for some 35 years now, and he'll have 3 pension checks, which to collect. I've been in this battle for a very long time. I served as a member of the Houston City Council, and then as a member of the United States Congress, and then was the Democratic nominee for governor here in Texas in 2006. And after that, I went on to serve on the National Board for All and Pro-Choice America, on the National Board for Media Matters, which some of you know has been the organization most effective in taking on right-wing media, and on the State Board for Equality Texas, that has long been in the fight for LGBTQ equality. And I'm proud of that record. Interestingly, while I was in Congress, some of those same insiders, I took on a lot of the same insiders that now are working so hard to protect John Cornyn and keep him in office. And it was some of those same insiders, like Tom DeLay, back during that time, that engaged in their very dubious redistricting plan that cost many of us our seats in Congress. But I'm very proud of the fact that I demanded the same ethical standards in the House of Representatives that I demanded as a member of the Houston City Council. And I broke a 7-year truce on filing of ethics complaints, and filed an ethics complaint against the then most corrupt politician in America, Tom DeLay. Many believe that started his disgraceful exit from the United States House of Representatives. And I will tell you, the whole DeLay situation has been sort of interesting, because some of you might recall that after he came back here to Austin and was indicted, he then was asked to appear on Dancing with the Stars. And since I filed the ethics complaint against him, reporters started calling and asking me what I thought about that. And my wife, Alice, and I had never watched Dancing with the Stars. And so I would just make stuff up, but we decided reporters were going to be calling, maybe we should start watching the show. And so we did, and of course DeLay was absolutely awful, but the show we found to be quite entertaining, and so we kept watching it. And on DeLay's last night on the show, he almost drops his partner in falls. And my wife, who is really very, very sweet, thought it was so funny, she actually went down on the floor because she was laughing so hard. And her then 10-year-old son was watching it with us, and I said, "Sweetie, I don't know, I kind of feel sorry for the guy." And Conley, my 10-year-old, said, "You know, Daddy, I kind of feel sorry for him too." And at that point, Allison stopped laughing, and she got up and she marched toward Conley and she said, "No, you will never feel sorry for that son of a bitch after what you did to the father." And I said, "Son, you just learned a very important lesson. The politician always forgives, the spouse never does." And I think forgiveness is important, but I don't think any of us will forgive ourselves if we don't take Trump out in 2020, and if we don't take John Cornyn out. stands up for our friends and protects the least and most vulnerable amongst us. And I believe, like so many of the great candidates that we've heard from here this evening, that health care is a right, not a privilege. And I've been talking about that for a very long time. And let's face it, I do think we have to applaud Barack Obama for the Affordable Care Act. It was a very heavy lift. But we all hoped that the insurance companies would get past their greed, perhaps. And while the Affordable Care Act has done wonders in terms of accessibility, it hasn't in terms of affordability. When this started out, I said I wanted to meet the people who really like their private insurance plans. As I traveled around the state, I have met some, and I understand that, but we have to have access to Medicare for all. Without a public option, the insurance companies are never going to play fair with the American people. We have to move in that direction. There must be a public option. And we have to get serious about reproductive health. No battle has been more important to me. That's why I served on the Daywell board for so long. Women have to be able to make their own choices, and it's so much more than just a debate about abortion. It's about health care. Because of the Republicans' unceasing attacks on Planned Parenthood, they're not just limiting people's rights to make their own decisions regarding their bodies, but they're also taking away basic health care from thousands of women, some of the most vulnerable women in our society. We have to move in a different direction, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes,
On the issue of guns, there's really no issue closer to my heart. I was writing op-eds about it as far back as to 2018. We certainly need universal background checks. We certainly need red flag laws, but we can't stop there. We have to get weapons of war out of the hands of individuals. This is absolute madness, what we have been witnessing, and they have no place. And when I talk to people who've been in the military, and they talk to me about what they had to go through, even to qualify to use an assault weapon, and then what they have to go through just to check it out, those guns aren't sitting under their cots. When they're in active military, they have to check them out. They go through very strict procedures, and we just allow people to put them under their bed and say, well, if they're upset someday, they can just go out and kill, however many people they feel like. This is ridiculous, and so I strongly support a ban and buyback program. We've seen it work in other countries, and it will work here. It will be expensive. It will be damn well worth the money. And I want to see us move that way. And when it comes to the issue of immigration, it saddens me so much because we've been talking about it so long. And back when I was in Congress, back when I was running for governor, and I still believe that we have to have border security. We probably need more border patrol guards. We need to take greater advantage of technology and have drones that can send messages back to the border patrol guards so they can guard a wider area of the border. But we also must have a pathway to citizenship for people who've been living here and not breaking any laws and contributing to our economy. It's ridiculous to think we're going to be able to deport millions of people. We're not. And so certainly any plan must include a pathway to citizenship. But what's interesting, and I want to share this with you just to bring a little levity, that plan as far as using drones to guard a wider swath of the border, I've been talking about that forever. And back when I was running for governor, one day we were down in the valley, and Adam, the young man who would drive and go with me to various places to make sure I would get everywhere on time, said, wait, before we go in this restaurant, I need to talk to you. He said, I kept hoping it would take care of itself, but it hasn't. He said, drones are robotic planes that can send messages back to Earth. Gnomes are usually little garden figurines, and you keep saying gnomes. But shockingly, ladies and gentlemen, I apparently had said it 5 times, and nobody ever asked me how that plan was going to work. Whether the gnomes were going to be armed, or if they were just going to jump out fast, nobody ever inquired. But obviously it's not that matter, given what Donald Trump has done. And he's taken us so far in the wrong direction, it's going to be very difficult to turn it back around. Just this past week, there was a story in the New York Times talking about the decreased morale amongst the Border Patrol guards because of what he's done. They have to worry about having their food spit in if they go he's turned them into something they were never meant to be, and continues to spread a degree of hatred that most of us never really imagined could exist in the United States of America. So this really is our chance. This really is a battle for the soul of our nation. This is our chance to finally seize the opportunity. We came so close in 2018, and now people have awakened to the fact that we can close the gap. The pendulum can swing the rest of the way, and we can have someone that will stand up and fight for the people of Texas. I've been fighting for a very long time. I'm never going to stop fighting, and I look forward to fighting for you as a member of the United States Senate. Please join me in this quest.